And I don't know about anyone else, but I sing along with that, even though it's not actually a song. I make up lyrics to go on. Just realized I was running late because I was doing, I was doing this, quite honestly, for my cocktail channel, doing the close-up and vanity shots and boozy. I don't usually bother with garnishes. But I thought I would for this one because it's got muddled blueberries in it. And I saved a couple blueberries to stick on as a garnish. Let's stick this on the socials. The socials for my cocktail happenings. That's a cute picture. Ambo rescuing a doggy. That's cute. No, that just distracted me. Ooh, wait, what am I doing? Okay, so Insta, let's get the framing right. Yep, that's pretty good. Hey, Annette. Blueberries everywhere. Well, this is my Black Friday cocktail. It's a bit more purple than black, but it is very dark. Dark rum, black currant liqueur, muddled blueberries. It's nice. It's very nice. So I made it last night for my talking to camera things. I had to make it again for the close-ups. I made it with pineapple juice tonight. I made it with lemon juice last night. And it was good with lemon juice. It was obviously more tart. I think it's better with pineapple juice, actually. So, okay, doing the whole Insta thing. And talking about blue drinks, our local heroes, Marionette, have actually done a blue curacao, because blue curacao is notoriously pretty ordinary. It's just, a slightly orange, slightly orange flavor to make, and its main thing is for making blue drinks. But Marionette have made a blue curacao, which they assure us actually tastes good as well as being fun, which I might get at some, but I've got blue curacao because there was a sale at Dan's not long ago. Right, so I've got an artfully framed shot of my cocktail. It actually looks, which is good, it looks darker in the picture, which is good for the Black Friday theme, really. Yeah, do that a bit. Just toying with, ooh. Yeah, no, it's looking very stark at the moment. What if I saturate that? That's a bit better. Now, just playing with all the Instagram bloody sliders. Do I want less of that? Lift up the shadows a bit, yeah. It's looking very stark, like you probably can't even see it. No, you can't. Maybe I've gone too hard with the contrast. I just love contrast. No, actually, it's a bit better with less contrast. I'm a bit addicted to contrast in Instagram photos. So it requires a bit of self-control not to just boost the contrast and everything. But now that looks like that. Maybe I can highlight the background out a bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. So I'm just giving you a running commentary of me doing Instagram tweaks. Okay. But I'm pretty happy with that. Done. Next. Okay. Snappy caption time. Snappy caption time. My hashtag Black Friday cocktail. So, 2 Oz dark rum. One Oz. Get the name of this right. Dry cassis. One Oz pineapple juice. What the fuck else did I put in here? Oh, 1/2 Oz velvet flornum. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. So yeah. So we got. Was that everything I put in it? Dry cassis, pineapple juice. I think that was everything I put in it. Oh, I'm so easily confused. I did it just a short time. That's what else. Muddled blueberries. Yeah, there's something else. All copy so I can use it on multiple platforms because, you know, that's the thing I do. Okay. Okay. Put that on there. Put that on there. Oh, it's a happening. Oh. I don't normally start a Thursday night with a cocktail. I normally start a Friday night with a cocktail, huh? It was there. I needed to set it up and take a photo. Probably the only alcoholic beverage I will have this evening. Oh, what was I posting 4 years ago today? Oh, those guys. Cool. Okay. Ooh. So I'm not a good Instagram person. I don't promote myself on Instagram. Oosh. So, no, that is absolutely. I'm so bad at Instagram, honestly. No, go back here. Oh, there's this dude on Instagram. He's Australian. I think he's actually from Melbourne. On Instagram, it's Cocktails by Tempest, and his garnish game is absolutely legendary. The cocktails seem really good as well, but just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Oh no, what the heck is this shit? Ah, yes, okay. Cool. Go away. Go away. I don't know how Instagram works. Yes, Safa, it is going to be very hot tomorrow. Not as brutal here as in other places, because other places seem like they're going to be having like all-time records and whatnot. All right. So I've done that thing. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Fuck off. Yes, I wanted to do that. Good. Jesus, I really don't know how Instagram works. I'm shit at it. I'm never going to be an influencer, am I? No, for a number of reasons, really. Let me see. And a little sippy sip. That is pretty good, quite honestly. Young Mr. Angry had a taste of it because he was interested seeing me make it. And his review was, boozy. It really is. 2 ounces of rum in there. Fairly boozy. Not the booziest thing I've ever made, but pretty boozy. Right. Annette, my Instagram didn't get banned, as far as I know. Have you seen something that makes... I was just on my Instagram. I'm just observing I'm not very good at Instagram. Just posting it to Steve the bartender as well. Making it ahead of time for my YouTube channel. Post, you motherfucker. Post, you motherfucker, post. Oh, sorry. Don't get into Instagram. There's no nudity on my Instagram. There was a bloody cocktail, not a cock. What are you doing? Just getting my shit together. Might actually put it on the Twitters as well. Tweet. Yes, it is. It is truly not morning for me. Just past 8 in the PM. All right. I got my silly Instagram. I thought I had plenty of time, and then I just suddenly noticed it was after 8 o'clock. So, c'est la vie. Hello and hello to you, Kirsten. Just so we're both posting our cocktails online right about now. This is the one. Oh, by the way, Kirsten, this is the one I made last night, and I had to do close-ups for the video, so I had to make it again. And I decided to go the whole way and put it in the cup with a garnish so I could do the Instagram shit with it. For fun, I made it with pineapple juice instead of lemon juice, and I think it's better. Yes, coffee and chill. It is a blueprint of a TARDIS. Little pun of it being a blueprint. Oh no, Kirsten, internet's crapped out. That's not good. That's not good. Internet is a basic necessity for existence these days. Ugh. And I'll tell you this for free. I ate too much at dinner because I am a piggy-wig. You're like, no, really? I thought you were just big boned, angry, not a big greedy fucker. No. And it was like burger and chips, which doesn't seem that excessive. It was a pretty big burger, but it was not an excessive, stupid burger. And I haven't had one for a while, and I just couldn't eat it all. And I suppose to my credit, I stopped eating it when I'm going like, oh my God, why am I shoving this in my mouth? I've eaten too much. So I suppose I've got that going for me. Kyle, hello. How are you? Cheers. I'd had these blueberries sitting in the fridge for weeks. I got them just because they're on special. And they're in very real danger of going off. So I thought, time to use them. Put them in a cocktail. Safa. I missed that. The foreign minister's internet crapped out during a press conference. That's embarrassing. Kaya, you like shoving some big things in your mouth, eh? Sorry, that's not even innuendo. Why am I doing it Benny Hill style? We're literally just saying penises. So, well, I was getting some meat in my mouth tonight. I tell you what. That is innuendo because it was a burger, not a penis. Feel like I'm protesting too much. Now I'm putting some little balls in my mouth. Just keeps going on, really, doesn't it? A bunch of fruit pulp over there. I'll probably eat that. Probably make a nice dessert. Bunch of squooshed blueberries with some booze residue in them. Ugh. Oh, so hopefully my overeating doesn't make me lapse into a coma in the next hour or two. Oof. It's just kind of struggling a bit. I shall continue to soldier on, and where's my medal? That's what I want to know. I'm just noticing a bird flying around in the backyard. It's quite nice actually, because when I'm working, as I've said before, that's the monitor. I face that way to work during the day, so I have that view of the backyard, which is nice. And so I very regularly put stuff out there for the birds to eat. So birds will come down and eat, and makes my day a bit more interesting. Sometimes they make too much noise, like I'm doing the old online meeting and quite a lot of bird song. Everyone's going, "It's got all the birds." It's actually not always me. It's often me. No, always. Like my boss, lives right out in the outer suburbs. Up in the hills. It's basically in the country where he lives, and so he regularly has the birds as well. He has a few I don't have, like kookaburras and whatnot in the background, but because he's in the country, it's like everyone's doing stuff spring. He gets the noise of chainsaws. Trying to have a meeting and his neighbors will be chainsawing a tree. Oh, it's just a bit much. This is interesting because it's got some of the peel sneak through the filter, and because it's been sitting in the bottom of the glass, it's a little bit of a bitter aftertaste, which is not great. So as my internet crept out during work, I haven't had big problems, but sometimes it's really hard to know where the problem is. You're talking to someone and voices are breaking up, and but it's a good excuse. I'm not saying I thought I'd pass 15 minutes at lunchtime by just playing a quick bit of Red Dead Redemption, roaming around like a cowboy for 15, 20 minutes, and then got distracted, and an hour later realized I was late for a meeting. So I sort of jumped on the meeting and just went, oh, damn, I'm having such bad connectivity problems today. So I had to restart everything 3 times. That hasn't happened. I haven't done that. That is not a thing that has happened. I just want to go on the record now as saying that is not a thing I've done. Also, I have not accidentally switched on my webcam while I was still wearing my bathrobe, dressing gown, whatever you want to call it. Suffice to say, I was not dressed, and I accidentally turned my camera on, and the entire team had a jolly good laugh, and in fact has not let me forget it. It just gets thrown into conversation every now and then. Like, you wearing clothes, Andrew? There's one other people. Just be careful. He might just be in his dressing gown. It's like, dude, it was only fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. Fucking sue me that I hadn't got dressed. Who are you, the fucking queen? Are you the fucking queen? Am I going to a fucking royal visit? No, I am not. I am in my own house and not leaving my own house. The fuck should I get dressed for? But I usually do before lunch. Sometimes just before lunch. Sometimes as early as 10 o'clock. My first morning meeting finishes. Some motherfucker set up a meeting for 8:30 in the morning. And I only got the invite, like I didn't see the invite. I arrived in my inbox after 5:30 the previous day. And I get up because I normally fire up at about 7:30 because, I'm not commuting, so it's real easy. So I fired up my thing, and some motherfuckers, it's about 7:30. I fired up, and I'm looking at the email, and some motherfucker said a meeting for 8:30. Shit, I don't even know this person. Fuck, what if they're the let's have the cameras on and talk to each other sort of person? Oh shit, I've got to go and have a shower. Someone's in the shower. Shit. So I made it, showered and dressed with about 10 minutes to spare before this fucking meeting started. I wasn't impressed. I really wasn't impressed. But, if that's the most difficult thing I have to deal with, I'm doing fairly well, quite honestly. So if you think I should do the newsreader stuff, dress on the top half, I mean, yeah, the only reason they caught me in my dressing gown is it was an accident. I have actually done that. There's one meeting where someone sort of said this thing. I thought, oh, these are the type of people who like to have the fucking camera on. I haven't had a shower. Shit. And so I just ran in and quickly wet my hair and brushed it and put a t-shirt on. And so I have actually done that, gotten half dressed. Kyle, you want to chat? Kyle? Let's chat. Where's the invite link? Because you haven't chatted I haven't seen you for a while. And you say you're clothed, which instantly makes me suspicious because I didn't ask. And I think, oh, what are you covering? So I'll throw the gate open for anyone who wants to join in. It's Thursday night. Let's chill. Let's chat. Oh, damn. I have to go and paste it on Facebook because Carl's watching on Facebook and StreamYard and Facebook aren't playing very well lately. Supposed to be able to fix it, but I haven't been able to. So fuck it. Fuck you, Facebook. Where put that in there. So all is happening, and if anyone wants to have a chat, but here's Kyle. How you doing?
The only reason why I said that was because of your little story.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm actually clothed. I have a haircut, and it's good.
I have to say, you've thrown off the shackles of isolation and had a haircut. I have not.
I've thrown off. I've moved back home. I love the rainbow background. I genuinely have been doing. I'm so tired from here that I have just relinquished myself back to my Western Sydney hermit. I've been watching television. And I'm just, I'm starting to do things that I need to have done by the end of the year, from today. So I'm just
catching up on you.
I'm catching up, but I also just think I deserved a break.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I finished college, I just wrapped on a film, and I was like, you need a break. And I was so mentally drained. I finished my last assignment, and then I was like, I'm going to watch. I've just started watching Morning Wars, the Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon series on Apple TV. Oh my God. I am obsessed.
You like it?
It is so good. It's not as good as a Newsroom. Well, it hasn't really gone into the the way that Aaron Sorkin writes his dialogue, but oh man, is it fun.
Oh, good. I just can't get into paying for yet another streaming service, so I don't have Apple TV.
Yeah, it's so good because it has if you're not gonna feel like everything that's in Apple is produced and created by Apple, it's developed by Apple. So you're not gonna get the controversies around different content. We will get some stuff now that's Boys State, which I don't know if that was actually commissioned by Apple. But that was supposedly a really good documentary about like the sort of like rough and tumble world of young politics in the US.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting time, I will say that.
Okay.
I think it's been really good. I picked up this today.
Oh, it's for the PS5 or for the PS4?
Only for the PS4.
Yeah.
I don't have a PS5, although I did do some research because I was just very curious about the PS5. And if you want a PS5, you're not going to get one.
They're very hard to get.
So they have completely not, they've completely under, kind of valued. I don't know if that's right. Like under, put in how many consoles people want to buy. Because
that tends to happen. Yeah, with all the releases, they all. But I never or rarely buy a console sort of less than 2 years after it comes out. I never rush. I think I got a Switch 6 or 8 months after they came out, and that was a rush for me. So
yeah, I mean, sure, but I also think there are early adopters who did want to buy the PS5, and there was a lot on offer, and I think a lot of people were kind of coming out of, because really the COVID game was Animal Crossing.
Yes, everyone got into that. Yes,
everyone got into Animal Crossing. I only got into it like a little bit, and then And then a lot of people then started playing The Last of Us Part 2, which of course just took out the Game of the Year award. And there's just a lot happening.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I just started playing Red Dead Redemption 2 two years after it came out.
I can't finish a game. Look, honestly, like it's that and Death Stranding. Like both of those games are really beautifully made games. They're really great games. But oh my god, there's something about the idea, and I don't know if it's just me or for anyone else, but there's a thing about like an open world game that you just think, oh my god, I don't know how I can finish this. And I mean, it's so funny because like in GTA, like I love GTA. I think it's such a good game.
Yeah.
I don't share any of the concerns about, sexism and racism and stuff like that. I just think like all the characters are assholes, and essentially an asshole. But yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I've thought about playing GTA Online because I love the idea of GTA 5. But then again, I think it speaks to the idea that I'm just more of a fucking like, I'm sort of born and raised into like a bit of a cosmopolitan way of thinking, which is like cities, everyone live in cities.
I love GTA 5. I thought that was so much fun.
It's super. It's I can't wait for Cyberpunk to come out. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm hearing real good things about it.
Oh, are you? Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I swear to God, like it's just, I mean, super queer, super edgy, super cool, like just, super fun. Like it's almost like a bit of a GTA on steroids from what I've heard.
Yeah, it sounds like, some of the testers talk about that is doing a playthrough, and I played for 175 hours and I haven't reached the credits yet. It's like,
which makes me really scared, to be honest, because I think if you bottle your, like, for example, the one thing that worked with Spider-Man 1 was the aspect that the game, I think Spider-Man was the most near perfect game for me because you were able to play everything that what you wanted, and then you could get add-ons on the game. But the game itself was the major part of the game. But the issue becomes that for me, you want to kind of be able to do more than just, you want people like to, produce all these challenges and stuff like that and things that people can do. I mean, the really good thing about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is another one of my really favorite games that I have not finished for obvious reasons, it's too fucking big, is the aspect that viewers and people who are fans of the game can actually just create their own missions, and then people around the world can play those missions, and that constitutes to people being able to buy stuff within the game, and that's really great.
So Mrs. Angry got into the open world games too. She's doing Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the moment. We're waiting
and now I've just released Valhalla, and I'm like, guys, chill it, okay, just chill it.
We're waiting to see if Valhalla's on sale this weekend.
Sorry, what was that?
We're waiting to see if the Assassin's Creed Valhalla's on sale for Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Oh God, no! They've just released it. No, God, no.
Well, I'm buying it either way, but I just thought, we'll just wait and see.
My games are not here, given the fact that right now I'm currently on my bedroom store. My desk is currently 2 archive boxes. And all of my DVDs are still kind of in storage, I'll say. All of my DVDs and games are all kind of in storage. So I don't even have my PS4 right now. So I'm like, I want to play this. I want to play it.
So crazy.
I know. It's super crazy. But I also just like, it's I don't know how long I'm gonna be here for. I think there's like a ton of questions, and I'm just super fatigued. I'm just like,
need to take some time out.
I'm just super tired.
No, definitely.
And I just don't want to
need an excuse, but you've got pretty solid excuses for needing some decompression time.
And I'm about to get work as well, so it's like I'm literally just like, I'm gonna just sit down for like a moment and be like, sorry guys, I'm gonna play a game. It's been super stressful, and it's been super educating to be at film school for the first year and kind of make those connections, make those mistakes. The film is good. It's not great. It's good. It's interesting. I think there are issues with it, but no one's gonna make you make sure your second short film that you've created at college is amazing.
Good. Yeah, well, you've packed a lot. Like I said, this year's been so weird and fucked up. People, you don't need an excuse to need some recoup time, but you've got a couple of good ones. So.
Look, this year has been. I mean, it's been super. It's been just super. Like, even at film school, like, I won't say too much because I don't feel like I want to say too much, but like. Just the fact of things that have come out about film school, we're being like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe we're doing that. It feels super annoying. And it's just, there's just there's so much going on. And it's just super like.
Just take some time, chill out. I've just confirmed at work today I'm taking 3 weeks off over Christmas, New Year's, which is, I've been there a year now, so this is my first proper break in that year.
Right.
I've been really lucky though, because having secure work until halfway through next year on a project I actually like. If I was still in the job I was in the previous year, like last year, which did end unexpectedly, shall we say, which I was a bit miffed at the time, but I was also, screw you guys, I'm out of here. And then I got this good job. If I had been in that other job, I would have been out of work 5 minutes after COVID started to bite. They would have just got rid of everyone, and they would have been pricks about it too. So I got super lucky that ended when it ended, and I started another one with a good team on a good project. And Sorry, someone sarcastic in my house who overhears my morning meetings is just going, "Good team, really? Okay, cool. I hear them, you know."
What do you do for work now?
The same thing I've been doing forever. I'm a contract business analyst working in IT. I do cybersecurity now. I'm a cybersecurity analyst. So
I mean, I'm glad you said that because part of me was actually falling asleep just then.
That's good. But yeah. So that's unsurprisingly a hot topic the last couple of years because some really high-profile cyber incidents in the last couple of years. It's always a good way to get budget when the shit hits the fan somewhere else, and then when you're working is going, "Oh my God, we have to do something. We don't want that to happen to us." And like, "Yeah, you do. Give me more money. Yeah, give me more money."
Thanks for taking money away from the arts budget.
Dude, it's all art. It's actually government too at the moment, but that's another thing. I was just looking at the chat.
I feel like every time it's like, I want more money, and I'm like, well, can you just give some of it to the arts? We don't have anything.
Well, you know, it's just that you live in a society that completely undervalues the arts. I mean, I snapped at someone on Facebook. They're a mildly conservative. They're either older Gen X or young Boomer, and so they're prone to posting dumb Boomer memes. And they had this one like, "Oh, you know what I learned in the pandemic that." And it's, they're saying, the least important people are blah-de, blah-de, blah. Yeah, and, you know, they said politicians, and they said actors. And, of course, what they meant was the social justice actors who are always speaking out. They're going like, you are useless. But they said, I learned in the pandemic I don't need actors. And I just jumped straight away and went, fuck you. Are you telling me you haven't watched any TV? You haven't watched any movies? You haven't played any games? Fuck you. You've relied more on the arts now than any time in your life, you piece of shit. And I probably overreacted a bit. But but
I also just think the fact of like, you know, I mean, if you've watched anything, if you've consumed anything during the pandemic, in one way or another, the arts budget has, if it's Australian for that matter, the arts budget has probably had something to do with the fact that they've been able to remain, you know, in competition and in terms of what they've been able to do. So it's just really interesting when people say to me like, oh, you know, like it's the arts budget and arts doesn't make sense and art isn't creating jobs. And I'm like, well, sure. Well, you know, arts itself, you know, relies on many different things. Sometimes sometimes not government funding, but you know, if you are in a pandemic, you're going to be watching a shit ton more stuff. You're going to be playing a lot more stuff. Everything that you listen to, watch, interact with online is art in some form of degree. And therefore, you know, your argument is invalid.
Yeah, it's like if you watch TV, if you read a book, if you listen to music, if you played a computer game, that's the fucking arts. That is the fucking arts right there. Don't you dare say it's not important when you would have lost your tiny mind. Oh, that's a cool looking book. What's that?
This is the best. This is the investment that I got on like the final day I was in like Sydney while I was living in Sydney. It's from a bookstore in Sydney called Untitled. I don't know if you have it in Melbourne as well. It's called Alternative Movie Posters 2. And it's by a guy named Matthew Kojnacki. I think he's a producer in the US. And what he does is he's worked with a whole bunch of underground artists to take posters that already movie posters that already exist and sort of have underground artists kind of workshop them and use them for an image. So there's things like
Pee-wee's Big Adventure on the cover.
Yes. So what else is there? They've got so that's 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Nice. That's a very nice coffee table book, that one.
It is a very good coffee table book. The Exorcist is quite good.
Oh yeah, nice. Holding the rosary. Yeah.
This is creepy as fuck. But The Thing.
Oh yeah, that's the head that grew legs. Possibly my favorite moment in the movie when that happened and the head grew legs, and the one guy on the crew who comes across as a stoner. It's just that's it. That's where he hit his limit of what he could cope with, and he's just looking at it, going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you'll get the full effect of this, but this is Jaws 3D.
Nice.
But I don't know if you can actually see it. It might be really bad, but you can actually see like it's kind of a bit of a motion image as well.
Yeah, it's like, coming out of the square. Yeah,
coming a bit out of the square. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
What was the other one I really liked? Yeah, they've got some of these really good ones. And these are all people, like, the whole point of it is to kind of take back control from, you know, all of the kind of studios sort of creating these really subpar.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I love this one. This is very fun. This is a tour. Death Proof.
Oh, they've done what's that? Is it action figures or?
No, it's video games. Like a video game.
I could just see that it was stylized. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Lost in Translation they've got, which is really cool. Yeah, it's a really great coffee book. If you find it in Melbourne, which you'd probably find it in Melbourne somewhere. It's super, super cool. Yeah. Escape from New York is on here.
Nice.
I think they did a really good job of The Fly, actually, this one.
Yes. Help me. Please help me. We're talking about the movies and stuff. And speaking of Star Trek, I noticed even Abigail, who's an old school Trekkie who thinks Star Trek Disco is pretty sucky, is starting to warm to Star Trek Disco in season 3.
What? I actually haven't. I've only watched one episode of season 3. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just the fact that I have to find time to sit down and watch it. But yeah, it hasn't hit me like all of the other seasons. I think the first episode kind of started off a bit, you know, like, but it's very curious to find out where it's going to go. I know it's like 5 episodes in, so I'm very curious to see where that goes. But you kind of get a bit worried when season 3 hits about whether or not your show is, you know, is it still as crisp and as creative it can be? Because, you know, I mean, season 3 is all about, you know, finding those new ideas and stuff like that. Season 1 is about, you know, introducing things. Season 2 is about, you know, wrapping up the story from season 1, and then season 3 is about engaging with all these new kind of, you know, stories that you can create and adding in a whole bunch of new characters, a whole bunch of new situations, and
Well, I think Abigail would have the opposite point of view. She didn't like the first 2 seasons at all, but is enjoying season 3. And Aidsy is apparently going to join us. But there's, only hearing from you on 8:48. And sometimes he appears straight away, and sometimes it takes half an hour for him to appear. But sometime in the next hour, theoretically, we're going to get an Aidsy joining us as well. But we'll soldier on until then. Just looking, I love Shieldsy's story. Your only trip this year, you did a road trip from Queensland to Melbourne and back to Queensland in a Pantech truck. It's like, wait.
Here's Spaceballs.
Rick Moranis, yes. Yes, Shieldsy, say his name 3 times and he'll appear. And it happened straight away.
Go, Goldfinch.
It's
Hi,
hello.
And Kyle's here too.
How you doing? Hello, Kyle. How are you? I haven't seen you for ages, Kyle.
I know. I've been so busy.
What have
It's
you
been
been busy doing, dude?
super busy. Sorry, what was that?
What have you been busy doing?
Everything. Everything.
Well, when you say everything to me, Kyle, that's not a good look. Because, Kyle...
Well, I've been at college. I moved out of home. I moved back home. I finished wrapping on a film. I'm currently just, sitting down and watching television, kind of having a bit of a chilled out sort of time because I'm very tired.
Yes.
I've just, there's been a time where my brain's just like, you can't, Kyle, as much as we love it, your brain cannot work.
Yes,
so I'm just, what was that?
That's my message telling me that I've got a message.
Oh my God.
And it's important that I have it on because occasionally that's fucking bullshit. The fucking real estate reckons I'm in arrears and I paid them today.
But it takes time to go through a payment.
I suppose. And boss of the house reckons his exam's over.
Oh, that's
but
good.
He sent it earlier on, so maybe it's not true. And
speaking of exams and last ones, Mrs. Angry's lad has done his last exam, which means he is no longer a school student. He's a big boy now.
No fucking way.
Big boy.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
He's finished the year 12.
Yeah, because he was like 8 years old when you first met him.
That's right. And that upsets me a lot. This disturbs me.
It's pretty disturbing stuff.
Fucking no longer a high schooler. I got bothered when he was a high schooler.
I was gonna say if you can hear like wind in the background, it is very windy in Sydney currently. So
okay, that's fine.
If I can hear wind in the background, Kyle, it means that you've been eating too many onions, too much turkey,
any onions
and
tonight,
not having enough love.
Yeah.
Oh. Is what I'm saying.
Well, I definitely need more love because boyfriend cannot find one.
It's a struggle, and it was it. Yeah, love in the time of Corona.
I'm lagging so bad. I'm lagging so bad.
Oh well, we'll have to see how we go. Kirsten's been having internet troubles too, but
when I was in hospital, right?
Yeah.
Corona just hit, and I was in rehab for like 6 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
My brain was fucked, and I couldn't have any visitors. Move closer to your router if you're on Wi-Fi. I can't move any closer to my router if I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm right next to it. Okay, I'll say that again. When I was in hospital, Corona just hit, and I couldn't have any visitors. And it's a lonely, lonely place in hospital when you can't have any visitors and you lay the biggest turd in hospital history.
That doesn't win you friends?
No, it did. It really did. People were looking at me like, you're a dirty, filthy drug addict. And then I laid this massive turd and they were going, that's a record. That's huge. That's just amazing. And they were taking fucking photographs of it. That still blows my mind that they were taking photographs of it. And I said, you're taking photographs of that? And they said, oh, yeah, for sure. We've got to have a record of this. And I ran in after I'd finished. And I said, well I'm finished now. Why are you running in? Because they said, well, you stopped screaming. We thought you were dead.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's so sad. Anyway, what was very happy was I evacuated. A week and a half's worth of nastiness. And I cannot tell you the feeling of relief that your body has when it's no longer being toxified. This morning, I prepared myself last night very well. You see, I ate well, and I gave myself extra fibre. And I got up this morning and went, "Oh, I'd better do something about this," and I did. And my body said, "This is going to be one of those ones that hurts you." And I went, "No, come on, that's not fair. I prepared really well." Anyway, biggity bang, done, finished, all over. Yes, there was pain. I'll admit that now. And there was a wideness which I didn't expect. A wideness which would make me popular in movies. And fucking done. And one flush gone. Usually when things like that happen, I've got to get tools out. And, you know, splashing things and, you know, lots of water and buckets and, you know, plungers and, you know, unpleasantness. But no, today, good. However, today was pretty shit. And I'm going to talk to you about it. And I'm going to talk to the gathered chat. I want some opinions on this, right?
Okay, let's go.
I was talking to an individual I hadn't seen for quite some time.
Right.
And they said, "You're looking." And I said, "Thank you." And they didn't say, "Well," they just said, "You're looking."
You're looking. You know, you're just looking.
Just looking. And I said, "Yes, no, things are very different now. I'm no longer married to my lovely wife. I've got a fantastic boyfriend now."
Wait,
and this individual said, "Sorry?
Are you gay, are you?"
"No, I'm bi. I'm actually technically pan, I found out."
Oh my God.
Bi, but now
Did you not know?
I genuinely thought you were straight.
Oh no. This guy's been into the dick since he was a teenager. So...
Oh my God. Sorry, I literally stopped my book and went, when you said boyfriend, I was like, what?
Which is a fine reaction. I like it. Deeply engrossed in the big old coffee table book and suddenly, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I was like, I literally was reading this book about poetry and then literally I'm like in it and then I'm like, wait, Angie said boyfriend, what?
I don't think Carl's been paying a lot of attention.
This relates to what I'm about to say. I'm sure.
Go.
Because I'm going to need opinions on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a new boyfriend. And this individual said, "Oh, I didn't know you were a bear."
You're a bear?
I'm a twink.
The
fucking excuse me. And and I was like, fucking right. I went red, not through embarrassment, but through rage. And I was fucking, excuse me. A bear, look at my girlish figure, right? You could bounce.
You're definitely not a bear.
Bullets off the buns of my backside.
But I also don't think
they'd probably go through. But you could bounce. They'd probably hit a bone and bounce. But I'm twink material. Kyle, you would agree, I'm sure.
I don't think you're a twink. I'm sorry.
But he's definitely not a bear. He's not big and hairy.
A bear. You're not a bear, AIDS. You're not a bear. But you're definitely. I mean, as much as I want to agree with that, I definitely do not think you're a twink.
What do we call a middle-aged twink?
See, I feel like could you be like maybe a cub?
I was never a twink.
No, you were really as like a 20-year-old, you were really fucking burly.
I was the biggest motherfucker you have ever seen. When I came out of high school. I just finished national competitive swimming. My shoulders were almost a metre across. I was fucking huge. In circus, I was the base man, the fire breather, and the base man. I was fucking enormous.
Yes.
I lost so much weight when I got arthritis because I had to take the weight off my joints. And I'm still 100 kilos. And I lost like 40 kilos. My fighting weight when I was at uni was 115, 120 kilos. I was a big fucking boy. And
that's like 80% of that was just in the bloody shoulder and chest area.
Shoulder and chest. So it was this big fucking triangle. And the seamstresses in the theatre school that we went to when they used to make me clothes, used to make me wear these shorts, and they used to cut a slit in the back of the calves of the shorts. And I said, why do you guys always do that? And they said, with calves like that, the girls want to see them. Because I had these fucking enormous calf muscles. They were just like huge. And apparently the boys were very jealous as well. They would look at them and go, how the fuck do you get that? Kickboards. And plumbing. My old man was a plumber, and he used to make me go out and help him every weekend. So I used to have to lift 100-kilogram drainage pipes off the truck and carry them 200 meters to where they were to be laid and put them on the side of the trench, not in the trench. If they went in the trench, I had to get in the trench and lift them out. Have you ever lifted 100-kilo pipe out of a trench with maybe 30 centimeters movement either way? That's a way to get a hernia. Difficult. So I was never a twink.
No. Although I did, in the chat, in reaction to that, Stella, who's listening to us while driving home from work, said she had to stop the car because she was just laughing so much at the concept of you being called a bear. Shieldsy threw in that maybe a beaver's a better one. Although I think Kirsten's, no, you're like this. Kirsten's on the money. She said otter. I think you're more an otter. I think I
like otter.
Yeah.
Kyle,
that's.
Are you going with otter?
I think otter is a good one.
I think otter's a good one.
Do you see me on my back smashing shells and eating casually?
And just wriggling around.
Fucking, like a regal fucking sea beast.
Yeah. And then occasionally just lying on your back and holding hands. Yeah. You ever seen that thing sea otters do? They sleep together, and so they don't drift apart. They actually hold hands while they're floating on their back. And,
They crashed on their back in the middle of the fucking Arctic Ocean. Go on. Go with it. And the Canadians come along and go, oh, it's otters. And with seals, they just hit them on the head and make coats out of them. But with otters, they fucking leave them alone because otters tend to bite.
They can be. They're very fruity. And look, it's Grasshopper.
Good evening.
Grasshopper, how you going? Grasshopper, did you hear my lament?
About you apparently being a bear or an otter?
Well, okay. I'll just quickly run you through it. Earlier on today, I met a friend that I hadn't seen in a long, long time. And I said, he said, you're doing, not well, but you're doing. And I said, yes, I'm no longer married to my lovely wife. I'm with a fabulous boyfriend now. And he said, oh, I had no idea you were a bear. And I was just fucking outraged. And I said, I'm a twink. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, a twink is more like it. Yeah.
He didn't buy it. No one's bought it so far.
I don't know. I guess the question remains then, AIDS.
Of course, when I was very, very young, I was never a twink.
But the question becomes, though, AIDS, are you pretty enough to be a twink?
I probably was, but I was so fucking big.
A clean shaven and sort of
so fucking big. I had just when I hit uni, I just come out of being a national class swimmer for 10 years, and my shoulders were so fucking big. that they were almost a metre across. I had this big barrel chest from swimming and from plumbing for 17 years. I was a fucking big boy and I could lift big, heavy things. And when I was in the circus, I was the bass man and the fire breather. And they put me in the pink tutu and the orange boots.
You'd look fantastic in a pink tutu.
And what we used to do when we go on tour, we used to have this drinking game with the locals, and it was so much fun. We used to go, because we'd run out of money because we were artists, and we go, all right, we'll make you a bet. Her waist is smaller than my bicep. Now, she was a contortionist and still is. She still does Madame Ledoux. Do you know that act?
I do, actually, yeah.
Right. The girl in the suitcase gets out and has a shower, right? Fucking amazing. The things, because there's shit in that suitcase that she's got to be in with. And
even if the suitcase was
pump.
Even if the suitcase was empty, it's still fucking mind-blowing.
Right? And her husband carries the case in, and he was the guy that was below me as the bass man. We had a 5-man stack, and he was the guy below me, and Jesus Christ, he was a big boy. And anyway, she and we would have this bet. My bicep was bigger than her waist, and I, of course, pumped the shit out of the bicep, and she sucked in her waist. And we would get the bar lady to measure tape it, and she'd go, always, fuck me. She's 5 centimeters smaller than his fucking arm. And the guys would go, oh, that's fucking bullshit. And I'd say, no, check this out. And we get the chicks, like the 4 of them, and I'd pick them all up. Because now remember, it's a circus. They know balance very, very well. And they would grab onto each other, and basically all I'd have to do is lift the fulcrum up on my arms, and they would fucking balance themselves on my shoulder. So half the weight is just basically coming straight down through my spine. But I'd lift them up with my arms, and the pub would just go, fuck. And we'd get beers all night. It was fucking awesome. Being on the road with the circus was just fucking awesome. But being called a bear, something and I'm not happy. Grasshopper, I didn't see you yesterday. Can you see my beautiful new teeth?
Yes, actually, I can.
But don't cut me or hurt me. I
this is a
ate
good thing.
some food tonight, which is probably why I'm having a sugar rush.
That's
always a
good.
good thing. Yeah. No, I'm too short to be called a bear, thankfully. I'm short, I'm overweight, and I'm hairy, so I've kind of got the bear aesthetic going on, but I'm too short to be called a bear. So I'm constantly referred to as a teddy bear, which, I'm okay with that. Gets me lots of hugs.
Okay. That's okay.
Nothing with being a teddy bear.
Yeah, gets me lots of hugs. I'm an absolute hug slut.
If I don't lose my fucking corona weight, I am fucking heading to bear territory. Except that I'm not hairy. When I had the chemo, all my body hair fell out, which put a bit of a strain on my marriage, actually, because my wife said it's like fucking a child.
Okay.
Yeah,
now,
no, that's one of the fun things about being on.
How are you feeling with your chemo?
Doing really well. So the dose of, for those in the stream, no, I don't have cancer, thankfully. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and one of the medications that they put you on is methotrexate, which in higher doses is used in chemotherapeutical things. I am on a very low dose, so thankfully the side effects from the methotrexate have been pretty much non-existent for me, which has been absolutely great.
Fucking great. Because I got to tell you, your skin doesn't look amazing, dude, and that's part of it. That's just part of it.
Okay, well, that might just be the lighting as well. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I can tell. I know what I'm looking for.
Okay.
How's your hair? Is your hair staying the
No
same?
problem. Yeah, no,
Great.
that's been that way.
No, body hair.
Forever.
Body hair. It's always
No.
body hair first.
So this is just AZ's way of wanting to see you naked.
I've got an erection now. I
Yeah.
can't help it.
And I'm sure that
Half
everybody
my
else in the live stream
eyelids,
is reaching for the.
and Andrew doesn't care.
I think everybody else watching the live stream is now reaching for the mind bleach. So
No, it's all good.
Mind bleach? I doubt it. Everybody's reaching for the fucking what's the keystroke for fucking
full screen
save?
Screen grab.
And I'll get the snip tool out, and it'll be grasshopper's chest. Yeah.
I'd actually
show you mine, but Kyle would go. That's embarrassing.
So they've got me to like they had me on 25 milligrams of prednisone a day, and now I've had to drop that down to 12.5 milligrams per day. And now that I've done that drop, I'm finding some of the symptoms are starting to come back with the rheumatoid arthritis. Nowhere near the levels that they were before. The difference is like I still cooked and cleaned earlier tonight, no problems at all. But some of the symptoms are coming back, but nowhere near as bad. But when are
they putting you on the Remicade?
So they don't know yet. I've got to be on this treatment for 4 weeks and then go in and see the rheumatologist again. And he'll look at my blood work, x-rays, etc., and figure out what to do from there. And also, find out how I'm coping with everything and whatnot. But what he said was that basically there's 3 different types of medications that they try up first with the methotrexate, the prednisone, and if that's not successful, they've got these other 2 that they try. If they're not successful, then you can go on to a different, it's an infusion thing that you've got to do once a month or something like that. But they need to go through these previous medication protocols before they can put you in for that one.
The infusion thing is very expensive, but it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Killed arthritis in this country dead. No one has it like I have it anymore, and I'm fucking overjoyed at that. Unfortunately, for people my age and over, the thing that really pissed me off was that it was available when I was sick, but they said they didn't offer it to me because they didn't think I could afford it.
Right.
And I was just gutted when they said that, because I had a benefit once. The comedy guys had a benefit for me, and 3,500 people turned up at the Hi-Fi Bar and did a comedy night for me. Fucking all the names that you've ever known of comedy were on, and it was a fucking top night. What happened was the juniors got on first and fucking did such a good job that everyone said, oh, fuck, the bar's been really raised. And everyone got on and did better and better and better and better. So by the time you got to your headliner acts, it was just on fire. And it was very humbling, but it raised so much money.
That's good.
That was when I had the gangrene. And me and the missus found ourselves in $25,000 worth of debt, considering
Ouch.
that all of this was paid for by Medicare. But the medicines they give you, the drugs and medicines and dressings they give you are so expensive that you just so very quickly rack up the debt. And we paid it off through that benefit. Plus a little bit of play money, which was lovely.
Reminds me of that whole ice bucket challenge that was going around a few years ago. So many people were screaming that pouring a bucket of ice water over your head isn't going to change a thing, and blah 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 blah. It was through that entire process and the money that raised that they made 2 huge breakthroughs in the studies of ALS and muscular dystrophy. Getting the attention and getting the money is all
so important.
so 100%, and especially with the treatments that they think that they can come up with, especially for ALS sufferers. If like, let's just be very clear here. If somebody is diagnosed with ALS at a young age, they're fucked. They've usually got a life expectancy of about maybe 25, 26 years old.
Yeah,
And
if that.
if that, and towards the end of it, it's even worse. My heart absolutely rips in two thinking about that.
Yeah, it's
Now,
horrific. It's horrific.
if they think that with these breakthroughs that they've made, if they can create medications to help slow down this reaction or turn off this reaction to slow down the progress, that these people could live to 50, 60 years old.
Yeah.
That is huge.
It's massive. It's massive. It's like what happened with AIDS.
Yeah.
When you got AIDS in the 80s, in the early 80s, 3 months later you were dead.
Yeah.
And I'm not shitting you. I had 3 of my mates die and scared the shit out of us. There were 5 of us who were fucking one another. And we promised we weren't going to play away. One of us did. And 3 of us got AIDS. And me and one other guy didn't. And fucking these poor bastards died 4 months after they got diagnosed. And one of them, his family rejected him completely and he died alone. The other one died in his sleep and the other one died in my arms. And
I'm so sorry
I got
hear that,
in
man.
trouble because when we went to the AIDS ward, we had to gown up.
Mm-hmm.
We had to wear gloves. We had to wear hats. We were not allowed to touch them.
Mm-hmm.
And the nurses were afraid to be near them because no one knew anything. No one knew anything. And basically, I went to one of my mates and I said, what can I do for you? He said, can I have a hug? Because I haven't touched anyone in 2 months. And I gave him a hug. And fuck, the nurses stormed in and they fucking dragged me out of there and put me through a decon shower and scrubbed me red raw with Ajax and fucking read the riot act.
Before we knew, one of the things that I had to one of the things that I had to study very closely in my studies of biology was because I study evolutionary biology, and if it wasn't for evolutionary biology, medicine wouldn't exist for the most part. So we had to do a lot of studies on various medications that were created for all sorts of different things. And the one that we studied very closely were the very antiretrovirals for treatment of HIV and AIDS. And these days, people with HIV/AIDS can be completely they can go in for a blood test and actually come up negative.
Yes.
Even though they still have the disease, it's so low in the system that it can't show up inside of a blood test.
Which
this
is fucking wonderful. And
this is through attention and funding.
Fucking 50,
they'll
60
live,
years old now.
They can live.
Now,
they can live just as long as you and I. So
thing that upsets me though is I talk to young people and they say, "Oh, AIDS doesn't kill you anymore," and it fucking does.
It's still
it
like
will eventually get to you. The antivirals stop working, and you do eventually get full blown AIDS, and you still die. Thankfully, the time has stretched to a lifetime, which is great, which is fucking awesome. And I just hope that continues and continues, and that the wonderful research they've done fucking just keeps on plowing through. And now, bizarrely enough, with the Tasmanian devil cancer, there's all sorts of with a contagious cancer. There's all sorts of treatment paths and research paths to go down about the kinds of things that get outside and get around your immune system and that attack your immune system. So there is no shortage of money for Tassie Devil research, because a contagious cancer will get the attention of the World Health Organization real fucking quick.
No, that's one of the silver bullet where cancer is concerned is going to be in immunization research, in my own personal opinion.
I reckon you're right.
They've had some fantastic successes with it already, but it's still fairly early days, especially scientifically speaking. But yeah, I do believe that that's where the silver bullet for cancer is concerned, is going to be modifying our own immune systems to be able to attack it, as opposed to trying to poison it out of us.
Exactly. Please excuse me 2 seconds.
No, you go for it.
Okay.
I'll just want to say very quickly to anybody that's watching this, if you or anybody that you know ever gets diagnosed, my heart absolutely breaks for you. Don't ever not go for chemotherapeutical drugs, radiotherapeutical drugs, and the current protocols that they've already got out there. Don't go for any of these naturopath bullshit things, all of that, because people are dying absolutely horrible deaths because of that shit, and it drives me nuts.
No, a guy who I've known for ages, came to me with a sad story. His brother was dying from, his brother had an aggressive and particularly painful sort of cancer. And then he went like, and we're treating it holistically and with, fresh fruit and vegetables. And I'm just biting my tongue because I'm just going to go, he's going to die. He's going to fucking die. What is this dumb shit about you're not doing chemotherapy? And he died, in pain, with no sort of medical care. And I was just like, fucking hell. It was so hard to bite my tongue because I don't want to get in someone's face who's already going through trauma. But
it's not one of those circumstances where you could really turn around to that person and go, no, you need to do it this way, because that's definitely not a good situation. But to be clear, like the holistic things like, fresh fruit and veg and eating a healthier diet and all of that sort of stuff, all of that as assist treatment along with the actual treatments for cancer, absolutely. Absolutely. But as the fucking treatment, and anybody that says at any point that pharmaceutical companies are sitting on the cure for cancer and refuse to release it, fuck you and everything you have ever fucking stood for. You're a piece of shit.
Fucking pharmaceutical companies,
I agree,
are all looking for the cure for cancer because they would make a fucking fortune. They would make fucking the bomb. The cure for a disease is the bomb. You fucking, all of a sudden you've painted in something that you can sell for $1.50 a shot, knowing that forever. So used to be that stomach ulcers were a major fucking problem. And then there was those guys in Australia who got the Nobel Prize for it. And then there was this product called Nexium. And I don't know if you've ever had it, but if you've had a stomach ulcer and you have Nexium, it's like putting a finger straight in the hole and the pain's just gone. It's essentially a cure, because while your body's fixing itself, because it needs time to fix itself, the Nexium's giving you that fucking space to do it. They basically have made 2 more products, those guys, off the back of the profits of Nexium. Now, making a new drug costs a fortune. It's like making an airplane. It puts the airplane company 2/3 of its wealth to develop a new plane, right? A drug company to develop a new drug puts 2/3 of its wealth into that new drug. And if it doesn't sell, they're fucked. Nexium sold so well that its profits funded 2 more drugs. They're not sitting on the cure for cancer. They don't get extra fucking... Big Pharma does not get extra money for keeping you sick. They don't get extra money for that. They get extra money for stopping you being sick.
The way that I've always argued this...
Or every doctor says, get that drug and fucking put it in. Every government remember, wants to tax you until you're 70, 80, 90.
Mm-hmm.
If you're dead at 20, they lose all of that money.
No, well,
The
as I've
Australian
always
government-
argued this point, the way that I've always argued this point with anybody that's ever said that, and unfortunately, I've met more than one person who actually fucking firmly believes that shit, is to turn around to them and say, okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I am a large pharmaceutical company, and that my pharmaceutical company is in competition with all of the other pharmaceutical companies out there.
Just say.
Yep. Mine comes up with the cure for cancer, for everybody's cancer, like even just one type of cancer, not all of them, just one type.
Just one.
Yeah. Let's just say that it's the cure for breast cancer, for instance.
Let's just say.
Yep. I am going to absolutely release that inside of about 3 seconds flat, because for the rest of eternity, my pharmaceutical company will be the one that was always being synonymous with, they cured breast cancer and they've got all of these other drugs for all of these other diseases. We're going to go to them. You can't.
Every fucking doctor in the world is going to say, get fucking Grasshopper Incorporated's breast cancer drug.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. Every government in the world is going to say subsidize Grasshopper drug, because having women in the workplace, fuck me, gets you taxed. The Australian Medicare system, people don't get this. The Australian Medicare system is, yes, it's about keeping Australians healthy, but it's about the money.
Yeah.
It's about keeping Australians at work. It's about stopping chronic disease and acute disease, because they started with acute disease to get people, back injuries, leg injuries, back to work, and then they're hitting chronic disease, so that more and more people are available for the workforce. And if they're available for the workforce, then you get to have your expertise raised, you get to have your productivity raised, and you get to have it for free.
Well, as you said before, it's all about the money, and it is cheaper and more cost effective to keep people healthy than to try and fix somebody after they got sick. An ounce of cure being better than an ounce of prevention being better than a pound of cure, basically.
Every time. And that's what Hawke and Keating were convinced of when the bean counters came to them and said, look, it's going to be expensive, but put it in and you'll get it back in 10 years. And they said, all right, we'll do it. Bullshit. In 3 years, they got it back. All of it. They said, you'll have it 3 times back in 10 years. And in fact, they got 10 times back in 3 years. And they said, this Medicare is fucking good shit. Which is why when AIDS hit, they said, our Medicare, which is very expensive, looks like it's in a lot of fucking trouble. What do we do? And they said, well, don't blame anyone. Fucking make it universal. Everyone can get it. Everyone can get it from everything. Don't say it's anyone's fault. Say it's a disease that isn't picky. And say you've got to let someone give it to you. So protect yourself. And then the Australian government went to Ansell, the company, and said, how many condoms can you make in 6 months? And they said, 5 million. And they said, can you make 25 million in 6 months? And they said, well, no. And they said, if we gave you something like $500 million in 4 factories, could you do it then? And Ansell said, we could give it our very best shot. And they did. They poured so much money into free condoms and made it universal. There was a time, and Angry will attest to this, where if you didn't show up with a condom for a route, you were shunned. Simple as that.
In all of my life,
still be the case. There are still all sorts of sexually transmitted infections. If you don't know someone, a condom should be mandatory.
Condoms. It fucking blows my mind.
In all my life, I've never had anybody pushing a pram in my direction, and I've never had a fire or an itch that I couldn't explain. And that's like, thankfully, even when I was pissed rotten drunk, I still had the presence of mind to use a rubber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today, I speak to young people and they say, "Oh, yeah, no, I don't bother with it. I don't like the condoms."
Because the education isn't there.
are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, sure. Look, I
You
mean,
can
okay.
fucking die. You
All
know?
of the cards on the table, sure, sex can feel different, maybe better, possibly whatever without a condom, but that like it doesn't mean that you're not having sex. It doesn't mean that you can't have fun. It means that you can actually have a lot more fun because you got no chance then, or significantly smaller chances anyway, of unexpected pregnancy, STI, etc. And if okay, bit of a soapbox, I'll be very quick. I honestly believe that one of the problems that we've got with STIs, with unwanted pregnancy, is lack of education around sex and the taboo nature of the topic of sex and sexuality. We
Yeah,
should
Australia's really changed. Really
take away
changed.
all of that taboo and
Yeah.
educate like our kids as they're growing up, because they're going to do it. Okay, most kids, most people have their first sexual experience between the ages of 14 and 17.
That's
So
right.
we're not going to be able to stop them from doing that. We shouldn't be trying to stop them from doing that. What we should be trying to do is educate
He's
them on
showing them
what
how.
consent, enthusiastic consent, protection, and that's it.
You know, I spent a lot of time when I was training young blokes when I was a comic, teaching young blokes how to use condoms so they were fun. A lot of young blokes did not know, because they say, "Oh, you can't feel anything in this fucked." And I'd say, put a drop of the lube in the tip, just a drop, and lube yourself up after you've got it on nice and tight. And you'll be amazed how good it feels. And sure enough, they'd come back with reports going, "Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it's fucking great." And, we're not teaching people how to fuck. We're not teaching people how to woo. We're not teaching people how to relate. We're not teaching people how to convince.
I feel like there's a much simpler way of putting this, which is that in Australia, I mean everywhere, but I mean it's not even Australia, everywhere, there is this idea when you bring up safe sex in school, there will always be that parent who is like, "Oh my god, you're talking about sex, it's terrible," and therefore you do not get the the amount of important information, because there's always that fear that a parent's going to get up and decide that it's going to be offensive. And I think the issue is that, I mean, my old principal actually said this, and I think he's right, is that I think parents need to move away from what what their children are getting taught, and be like, what, this is really great, this is really fantastic information, and this will change your life, and it will make you not just a better person in terms of being a more productive person of society and understanding diversity, but also the fact of understanding your own health and you understanding how you can work in these different situations if you want to have sex.
100%.
A gay person.
You know what, Angry? More and more I hear this, more and more I think that fucking incel program has to
It
no,
reminds
a little
me
while
of
ago,
the
I was saying to Angry and the assembled crew here that I was going to make a series on for incels, because I was looking at it from the angle is everyone criticizes incels and femcels, but no one has taken the time to turn around and say, well, this is how you get confident. This is how you talk to a chick. This is
I need to. No, I need to interject here. I've met one real incel, and I told this story on the live stream like a couple of months back or whatever it was. But I met one real deal incel, and it's their belief and their view on women is the problem now.
Yes.
Like I understand that it used to be a completely different thing, but for what it is now, they believe completely that women need to be 100% subjective. They should not have any kind of bodily autonomy or anything like that. Trying to get through that kind of view is tantamount to trying to drill through concrete with a twig.
Right, exactly.
But it's even more intense than
immediately
that.
comes across like that because what we're not looking at is even more underlying causes of these things, which it always comes back to the self. Remember that any attitude I have comes from me, right? And if I don't have the tools to, okay, perfect example. Angry fucking rouses on me all the time, right? And instead of fucking going, oh, fucking bullshit, fucking blah, 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 I go, oh, okay, well, fucking talk me through this, explain this to me so I understand where I'm wrong. I do that, don't I?
Yes, and it's always, well, it started when you got your penis out. And that's always where it starts to go wrong.
That's fair. That's fair.
The issue,
but it's the underlying. You're right. It's attitude, and it's underlying causes of attitude.
Okay, hold on, AZ. Pause.
Underlying causes of self-attitude.
AZ, just hit pause just for 1 second because Lee's been trying to say something and Kyle as well.
No.
So
I've been pointing at Kyle because he's trying to say something.
Okay, by all means, please, Kyle, go for it.
Please, sorry.
I just think in terms of educating people through some sort of de-radicalization program, de-escalation program, the issue is clearly understanding the fact that these specific people have the most, I don't want to call it the strangest, but it is the most absurdist ways of, looking at the world. Like, in terms of, what Grasshopper was saying about, like, sexism, but it's also things like, when they believe that, that we're trying to destroy, like, white people, and they try this whole aspect around, cleansing the population of whiteness because that's how diversity works. And I think
it's shit like that. And it's sorry, go on, Grasshopper.
Yeah, sorry, I got a new one torn on me earlier via messages because a friend of mine posted up on their Facebook this stupid thing, and it's folks, I've got it on my screen here. Folks, I never cared that you were gay until you started shoving it down my throat, and I never cared what color you were till you started blaming me for your problems, and I never cared about your political affiliation until you started condemning me for mine. I really never even cared where you were born until you wanted to erase my history and blame my ancestors for your problems. I never even cared if your beliefs were different than mine until you said my beliefs were wrong. But now I care. My patience and tolerance are gone, and I am not alone in feeling like this. There are millions of us who feel like this. And it's this whole idea that trying to for like the LGBT community asking to be treated like fucking human beings and given the same rights as anybody else, and to take responsibility for what the fuck our ancestors actually did. Yeah. It's not a case of maybe my ancestors were guilty because my family didn't come here until then or whatever. It's got nothing to fucking do with that. At the end of the day, if you're white people did this and you fucking benefit from it. It is just accepting that you have that benefit for the simple fact that your skin is white. That's fucking it. There's no more to it.
And only one sort of person makes posts like that. Someone who's deeply and thoroughly racist, misogynist, homophobic, and just an all-out cunt. There is no such thing as the person who wasn't homophobic, who wasn't racist, but when oppressed people stood up and said, I deserve the barest respect, that's too much, you're blaming me. No, that person's a cunt, has always been a cunt, will always be a cunt. They've always been racist, they've always been homophobic, they've always been misogynist.
I've been saying to Angry for years, and I think he agrees with me, if you find a conspiracy theorist, scratch the surface, you'll find a racist.
Oh, every time. Every fucking time. Yeah.
Let's take the Twin Towers, right?
Yeah.
These were people who were more comfortable with the idea that their own government would murder them than some niggers in a sheet got one over on them. That they tactically beat them in a war. That some camel jockey beat them in a war. They were more comfortable with the idea that their government was so much in control of the world that they would murder their own citizens rather than having the dirty people beat them. And that
100%.
bothered the shit out of me.
Yeah, they can't get past the fact that they look upon Muslims in these countries, like you see it all the time in the media and stuff like that. They kind of always in these broken down, falling to pieces cars, and they're technologically inept, and their houses are still built out of mud and all of this sort of stuff. People honestly believe that Muslims in Muslim-led countries live like back in the Stone Ages in terms of technology. And while they don't have the same access to technology as we do, they still have the same level of technology as we do.
Been to Riyadh?
The guys that pulled off
backwards place.
The guys that pulled off 9/11 were they spent years planning to do what they did. And it was absolutely heartbreaking that they were successful. Yeah.
They spent fucking millions doing it too.
Yeah.
They didn't fuck around.
They went to places where they could do flight simulator training was part of it, and all of these sorts of different things where they could get access to the technology to learn what it is that they needed to learn in order to do what the fuck they did. These people were determined as fuck. And the idea that these lower classmen, as it were, managed to trick us amazing white people and managed to do this absolutely horrible thing is just completely like that can't ever happen because, like you said, it's fucking racist.
And you know what? Also, just a little kicker. Or each one of those terrorists was a member of the NRA.
That would not fucking surprise me at all.
Because they practiced shooting at ranges and they all had gun licenses. Every single one of them had gun licenses.
They were also trying to blend in. They were trying to appear very American.
They were.
They all publicly drank alcohol, which is, of course, haram. But they twisted the ideology in the service of jihad. They were allowed to do it. Yeah, but that's how much they twisted it. That they would go to strip clubs and they would drink alcohol. So, they didn't seem like extremists.
I had a Muslim family live up the street from me, and I lived in this same place for like 15 years. And I watched these kids grow up. And I watched one kid particularly next door. Their dad came from Lebanon. He was a taxi driver. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, these kids were gotten up out of bed to change to rotate the wheels on the car and to fix the car. And they learnt to work. 4 o'clock in the morning, these kids are up to fixing the fucking cab.
Sorry. I just got an SMS that. Sorry. Continue.
And there's one kid who was looking next door to this tow truck, and when he grew up, he bought the second tow truck off his neighbour, and he started a very successful tow truck business. Wow. And I'll cut the longest story short. Round the other corner to us was another Muslim family that was planning a terrorist attack. It was a big one. And he by chance found out about it. And he told him, he said, "Oh, you've got 24 hours to get rid of all this shit, or I'm dropping a coin on you."
It's super.
And he didn't, and he did. And the police told him, do nothing. Do nothing. And sure enough, 14 weeks later, 24 people got arrested. They're still in jail. They're going to stay in jail. 95% of terrorist attacks in this country are stopped by Muslims ringing up and saying there's been some dickhead at mosque in the Ummah fucking shooting his mouth off, and he's saying things because crazy. They've got panel beating businesses, they've got kebab shops, they've got tow truck fucking businesses. They're trying to fucking put school shoes on their kids. They're trying to fucking make their women look over the fence and be a little bit more satisfied with what she's got than what the other girl's got. They're trying to fucking make it work where they are, and they don't need some dickhead fucking it up for all of us. And
so I grew up with a couple of Muslim kids, and I got taught a lot about Islam growing up, about the Hadith texts and a whole bunch of other things. And, actually sat there and had like long conversations with their imam and all of these sorts of things. So I guess I was in a bit of a better position about Muslims when this whole, Fear the Muslims campaign kind of really started up after 9/11. I was in a bit of a better position because I knew that not all Muslims believed in this. Like,
most of them fucking can't stand it.
Yeah, no,
most
they absolutely abhor
think
it.
it's the biggest lot of bullshit in the world.
100%, yeah.
The ones in Australia fucking are here because they want to get away from the shit.
Yeah, try to convince the fucking stop the boaters of that shit. Oh my fucking god.
They run
Tony
here.
Abbott.
Fucking every fucking wog in Australia ran to Australia because the shit that was happening at home they wanted nothing to do with anymore. And everybody who comes now gets told by the community, now, the war that's happening at home, it's at home. We don't do it anymore. That shit is over. And you don't do it or you'll fucking be on a boat. Understand me?
No,
and
I mean, you do.
Everyone gets told and everyone gets the warning from the community.
You do have those really small percentage, like with every fucking community. You've always got that really small percentage that are assholes. Absolutely. But to say that they're fucking representative of the rest of the community is wildly racist and just completely fucking wrong. Yeah.
It's bullshit. And I had two experiences with a bloke I lived next door to here in my little bedsit from Saudi Arabia, and he was a automotive mechanic doctor, and he had one mate who was a bit of a hardliner, and he would ask me questions about Australian culture. He said, "Why do people drink and get so drunk?" And I said, "Well, it makes them happy." He says, "Well, they don't look real happy." And his thing was prayer. His thing was prayer. Like, he would pray 5 times a day and feel high from prayer. And I'd be going, "That's great." And I would talk to him about violence, and he would be, he says, "There's no fucking place for violence in the Quran. The Quran doesn't say anything about fucking violence. And fucking hurting non-combatants is straight to hell. Sorry, that's the rules. There's no Quran doubting that."
The Quran is the same as the King James and all of that sort of stuff. There are passages in the Quran, same as there are passages in the Bible, that are fucking abhorrent in their own right. And and that's fine. But to say that that is representative of the entire religion, which I'm sure that nobody is sitting there right now screaming at us about this, to say that that is representative of the religion is complete fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
and it always has been.
I think it's so important in terms of, like, the idea is that, as you said, Grasshopper, I think it's so true, because the aspect is like the Christian Bible has a ton of fucking shit when it comes to, gay people. And it's one of those things where it's like, where is the condemnation about the fact of, when people say, if you're gay, if you've done a sin, throw the first stone. And I think it's also very important to understand that the US has done a ton of fucking research about this, and says that the issue in terms of domestic terrorism does not come from people of color. It doesn't come from Muslims. It comes from white people who are radicalized through very crazy, weird messages of racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, and the idea of xenophobia as well. And I think it's also very important. I mean, I had a guy today. I saw somebody posted something today about there's a show in America called SWAT, which is of course about about the team in America, and they've sort of done a version of a 1970 show. And one person commented saying, "Why is this show doing politically correct stuff?" One girl said that, and then I said, "Well, I mean, what do you think is politically correct about this story? I mean, doesn't seem like very politically correct." And then some guy chimed in and sort of said, "Well, how is this different from all of these left-wing extremist groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa?" But then would name only right-wing group, and like he would only say, "But what about the like right-wing?" Like not the right wing groups. And I was like, it's interesting that you say there about the fact of like, who are the right wing groups that you're talking about. And I think these sorts of things are so important in terms of, understanding, the story in these things exist. I mean, super annoying. And
it's always when it comes to these topics, there's always so much more nuance and so much more background that needs to be given. And the moment that you try to explain that nuance, that you try to explain that background of this organization, where it came from, and like what we should be trying to aim towards today, is always conflated with political correctness, which is absolutely ridiculous. There was a gigantic thing I remember when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was on TV. There was the first kiss between a gay couple in that, and no one cared because it was two girls that kissed in that show. But it was the first show to do it, and nobody cared. And not long after that, there was a show that came out, I think it was roughly at the same time, and it was called Queer as Folk. And in that show, there were gay men that kissed, and everybody lost their fucking minds. Yeah, because two
fucking minds.
But that's so much about, the sexualization of bodies and the sexualization of queer bodies.
Yeah,
the fact that
100%.
females themselves can, be the ones that, are sexualized. But whenever a man does it, it's all about the questioning of male sexuality. The idea of, if a man does this and I like it, it's almost impeding this this sense of rage inside a male. The idea of, when a straight man hooks up with a trans woman of color, it is always this frustration about the fact of the idea that queer people are going to straight people.
And I know, but it definitely comes down to, the gay guy's gonna stick it in me, and you just got to calm them down and go, dude, you're not all that.
He's not.
You know the ugly, stupid thing that keeps the women away keeps the dudes away too. So
yeah. Well, I normally say to sorry.
No, go ahead, Lee.
I normally say to those homophobes and xenophobes and racists, you stay out of my face, I stay out of yours.
Sorry, I'm getting weird noises, so I'm not hearing anyone. But to finish off my Muslim guy story, I had just started going out with Boss of the House, and the house loved it. The whole house loved it. We had a really good gang at that time, and they loved him to death. And they loved the fact that AZ had gotten so much more fucking healthy since Boss of the House had turned up. And my Muslim mate was there, and I had left the balcony, and his hardliner Muslim mate had said that how disgusting homosexuals were, and the whole balcony sort of shut up because they didn't want to fucking rock the boat, but they didn't want their AZ to be shat on. And he asked my Muslim mate, well, how would you feel if you saw two guys kissing? And he said, jealous. And the whole fucking balcony just pissed themselves laughing and shut him down. Because he hadn't... Okay, so this guy didn't drink, didn't smoke the weed, didn't do any drugs at all, was clean living, but was a pants man. My word, he would put it about. We would be following a lady in tight shorts, and he'd say, how how in Australia would I say hello to her? And I said, well, you would say hello. You would introduce yourself. You would find a reason to talk to her. You would make sure that you were 2 arm lengths away from her so that she would always be understanding that you couldn't grab her.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to make her feel safe, and you have to make her feel interested. And he said, how am I going to make her feel interested? And I said, you designed a car that flies. You designed a car that you turn on the engine and it flies across the desert because you wanted to go on a magic carpet. That's a pretty cool thing. Start with that. That would interest most people.
I just
knew
want
the guy for a year before he fucking told me. Blew my mind.
I want to just put this in here very quickly because just got a message. I've got a client on their way over, so I'll have to get going very soon. I get asked a lot, how did you manage to score such a beautiful wife? And everybody loves to talk about how I'm boxing above my weight and all of that sort of stuff. Let me just make this abundantly clear. The way that I scored my wife was by basically not being a piece of shit human being. I respected her boundaries.
What?
Yeah, I respected her boundaries.
Stunning words of yours.
I respected her as a person. The first night that things were starting to happen between her and I, she became very uncomfortable, and I immediately stopped everything and made sure that she was okay. Just stopped.
Off.
Yeah, are you okay? What can I do to help you? All of that.
Respect makes a person comfortable.
Yep.
That's all. Going to be comfortable?
That's all that was required. Yeah, that was all that was required to score this woman for the rest of my days, was basically by not being a shit human being. Respect people, respect boundaries, and that's the fucking end of it. My love to you all, but I need to get going because, like I said, I got a client on the way over. So live long and prosper to Abigail, who I know is watching us right now, and my love to you all. Ciao for now.
Right, I've got to go too because my battery's on 2%. So peace and love, Lee Kennedy out.
Okay, see you, buddy.
Peace, brother.
And it's almost bedtime anyway, but you know we have a few minutes of chat before we'll be going. But what have you been up to? Nobody dropping in and saying hello.
Well, not a hell of a lot, really.
Put you on the spot suddenly.
No, just trying. No, not a hell of a lot. I've been doing some chainsawing. That's always fun. Empowering when you've got this little chainsaw in your hand that just munches through a tree like nothing.
Oh, nice.
Empowering.
Nice. I just thought, because we were talking about the Queer as Folk show, which again, I've always loved that as a pun because it was always the polite way, and it wasn't really referring to sexuality as an English saying, a Northern English saying about, oh, there's now as queer as folk. And it's just when people do something to surprise you, you're saying people are unusual, aren't they? And then it was taken on for the show. But of course, it's also rhymes with queer as fuck, which I've always loved the implicit pun in the name.
It doesn't really rhyme with it, but there's a general aspect of when you say queer as folk, you're really meaning queer as fuck.
Yeah, they're a homonym. And philosopher in the chat, I just noticed, that's why I brought it up, saying that until Queer as Folk thought gay male sex was only done doggy style because that's how it was portrayed everywhere, and they were a bit more inventive in Queer as Folk. So there you go.
Yeah, I think the greatest thing about, you know, in terms of Queer as Folk and those sort of early kind of shows in terms of showcasing real sexuality was that it was showcasing real sexuality. It wasn't. It was putting it all on the table, both, you know, shows like the Queer as Folk, the L Word, and then you kind of, you know, getting into the new frontier of trans representation, with shows like, I don't want to say transparent because that always became a bit problematic, but, you know, Orange is the New Black with people like Laverne Cox and Pose, and these kind of new frontier shows that are all about both in terms of they're about two things really. Number one, if you're not in that community, it's about education and exposure, the idea of questioning your own ideas around a specific person or a specific group. If you were in that group, however, it was all about resilience and finding that support in the fact of you finding that big powerful person that you could confide in every week while watching television. I just want to say this out there is that if you guys haven't watched that 6-part series on Apple TV called Visible, I think it's very important because that show really does put everything to paper in terms of basically the history of queerness and pop culture. And it very much started with those very early days of sitcoms like, The Brady Bunch and Happy Days and stuff like that, which...
Uh-oh, we've lost him.
Kyle suddenly froze.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
now.
You've got to wrap everything up because I'm going to go to bed.
Okay, I was going to say that it was basically all of it has kind of gone through the idea of queer subtext to now being very queer open and the idea that we are very celebratory in terms of our representation of queer people. Does it need to go further? Absolutely. Has it gone in terms of droves and droves and droves since the word go? Yeah, and that's super exciting.
Angry.
Yes.
Did you want to leave the channel open while you bailed in case we had more to chat about?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm going to end the stream now. So
good night, all you good folks.
So good night to everyone. Not saying I don't trust anyone. It's just given that I'm the only one who'd pay any price for anything that happened. I end the stream when I go.
Just leave us alive.
You can if you want. I'm going to bed.
Yes,
I don't control, as we have come to know, the after party. I don't control that.
Yeah.
The room remains active as long as people.
I'm going to stick around for a bit longer.
Yeah. I think Kyle's got some interesting things to say. And
look, I'm probably going to actually head off as well, to be honest.
So it's bedtime, but tomorrow night's Friday night. Is today Thursday or is today Wednesday? I got confused just then.
Today's Thursday, man.
Okay, Jesus.
No, today, don't worry. It happened to me today as well. I thought it was Wednesday again.
I was sure it was Thursday, and then I doubted myself. But so tomorrow night's usually party night. We'll see what happens. It's a wild and crazy world. So you all take care, and I'll see you all later. Bye.